Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Kern High Network. We're live on KernHighNetwork.com. We are from Stockdale High School tonight in a big SWYL Southwest Yosemite League matchup between the Stockdale Mustangs hosting the Centennial Golden Hawks. Very, very excited tonight. With me is Udiel Flores. They call him Udi. And I'm going to try and make sure I get it right in the best way I possibly can get it. I know I'm butchering my Spanish, but I'm excited. If you guys don't remember, Udi was part of an historic broadcast that we brought way back in November 27th. It was South High against Golden Valley High School in the first ever high school game broadcast live in Spanish. And you know, we had Ridgeview and Liberty Soccer and your counterpart, Javier Cervantes, who's the head coach at East Bakersfield High School. I asked him what it meant to him and the community of followers that English is their second language and to be able to bring it in Spanish. And he's was just heartfelt, and he really said it meant a lot to the community, a community of soccer lovers that all they can do is speak Spanish, and really it meant a lot to him and community and people out there. Udi, I want your thoughts on that game before we get going into this SWYL contest.
Well, first of all, Wiley, thank you for having me again. Yeah, I'm excited to be here once more. Like you said, I was part of that historic Spanish broadcasting that we did. Just like Javier, I think it was a it was a great experience being able to provide that soccer experience to the Spanish speaking community, and it was greatly appreciated. It was a success from what I heard.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that I'm back again. This time doing it in English, but I look forward to the future games that will come. That will also be transmitted in Spanish. And I really want to thank the current high school district for allowing me to do this once more.
Yeah, absolutely. Udio brings a ton of experience in the soccer community, in the soccer world. He's currently the head JV coach at Shafter High School. He's also very active in the club scene. Him and Javier Cervantes coach together. So some of these kids we'll see tonight from the Stockdale side and maybe a little bit from the Centennial side are definitely in the club scene that we can look at. Let's quickly, as we get going in this game. We also got to mention our main man, Julian Wilson, who's on the camera, who is with us in a wide variety from football to basketball to volleyball to soccer to maybe baseball, whatever it is.
And some cricket.
And some cricket maybe we get on there. As we eventually bring it on there, we could do that. Julian, as you get down on the field and you see these teams coming out, Udi, why don't I get your thoughts on this Stockdale team? You know some of those players. You've coached some of those players. Give me some thoughts on that, and I'll cover some of the Centennial. I did a little homework, talked with the coach a little bit about that. But tell me what you know about these Stockdale Mustangs.
Yeah, definitely, Wiley. These Mustangs are going to come out here with a great team. They have great players like Bryce. They have a great keeper, Daniel, who's been playing club with us for a while now. And a very, very offensive team that, they're going to be looking to take that W tonight with, the great coaching experience from the great coaches that they have. But, yeah, it's a great team. A lot of these players, have been around the club scene for a while. And, they shouldn't disappoint us tonight.
Absolutely. Stockdale Mustangs are coached by Sean Sullivan, and some of those players you talked about, Bryson Estrada, number 11, seems to be the striker to look out for. And number 1, Daniel Sasso, is at keeper. That does a lot of stuff, and that's a name that you brought up, and it's always good to have a good keeper in the back too as well. Now, as we look at the Centennial Golden Hawks, they are 7-7-3 according to Max Preps. I'm looking at that 2-0 in the SWYL, as are the Stockdale Mustangs. But these Golden Hawks come in with a lot of confidence. They have a top goal scorer that we got to look out, and that's number 7, Jarrett Fiddler. He is the senior. He's one of the top goal scorers in town. We'll take a look at what he is able to bring to the equation tonight, see if he's a quick strike guy as well. We also have Connor Meeks is a defender, and we got to look to see if number 5 is on the field. It looks like he is. He had a little bit of an injury, maybe a little bit of sickness. It was doubtful that he'll play, but it looks like he was at midfield right there as the captains met with the referees, and he'll be out there. Also, we got to pay attention to Garrett Argus, number 5. He is a solid defender that looks to shore up that back line for the Golden Hawks, and also looking at it at the midfield, which is a very, very critical thing I've looked at. Usually it's the keepers and the forwards, the strikers that get all the thing, but the guys that really make things going, that essentially played both sides of the ball, you can play, are those midfielders. And you look at number 24, Kobe Fraley is one guy to pay attention to as we get going. The Golden Hawks are coached by Jeff Vaughn. They are 7-7-3, 2-0 in the SWYL, and it looks like the Stockdale Mustangs are going to get started with kicking the ball at the center field. I apologize, Udi, as we get going. I speak a lot in football, not football, so I'll make sure and clear it up as we get going in there. I am a football player. Udi is the football player, and he's the one that I'm going to come to. I'm going to ask him questions throughout the evening to help clarify some things as we go through, because I'm having a blast with soccer. The community's having a blast with soccer as we've gotten going this year. Another big game we have on tonight is Liberty and Frontier girls soccer. Liberty looks like they're the #1 team in the Valley right now, so they're going to be rocking and rolling. That was I saw that yesterday on Twitter throughout different social media panels and verifying it with Max Press. But here we go as we get going. Looks like it's number 4, number 8, Mateo Herrera kicking the ball around, and Stockdale is going to play down to the near side. Combination of number 16 and number 17, Chris Arndt, and Uriel Tapia gives it to number 20. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong one. Asher DeLuz, number 20 on Stockdale's side. I was looking at Centennial there first. I apologize. Number 14, Preston Durbin, is also up in the front a little bit. And it looks like there is solid defense by Centennial, but Stockdale's looking to press early. What are you seeing so far, Udi?
Yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning, Stockdale is going to come with a very offensive team. They, since the first second they started attacking, coach started with the formation that's very offensive. With the 4-4-1. With one forward, that means that that forward is going to be doing a lot of work up there, but they have him up there for a reason, so that means that he's very skillful, very technical player, and that's what it is, with number 8, with Ben Page.
Absolutely. If you saw that rocket kick right there from the back line right there, that was number 15, Jose Chavez. Definitely has a strong leg from that backside, but he kind of plays that kind of center mid position right there. As there's a throw-in by Stockdale. Little dribble around by number 17, Mark Chavez. He gives it right back to Jose Chavez, who kicks it all the way back to the keeper. I'll say this, in high school, you don't see as much in just my limited experience of watching soccer and being a soccer fan, the usage of the keeper as kind of a consistent thing. Oh, we got a run right here. Number 17, Mark Chavez on there, but great defense right there. That's number 17. Uriel Tapia marked him up pretty well. But you know what I'm saying? They don't utilize that goalkeeper maybe as much as kind of a consistent, viable option to pass to. Maybe a little bit more in the collegiate game, and when you get in the pro game, you probably see that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just depends on the team or the formation that you have out there.
I think you're completely correct. High school soccer is more about, going forward and attacking every time you have the ball. You do get some coaches sometimes that they ask their team to keep possession of the ball because, one thing about soccer is that the more you have the ball at your feet, the more opportunities you're going to create.
Yeah.
And, it seems like this is what the coach from Stockdale is asking from them. And, as of right now, it has worked well with, for Stockdale since they're 2-0 in their league.
Yeah, absolutely. So the combination of Ben Page and Asir DeLuz, hopefully I'm giving that right, or it's Azier. We'll look at that, get it, but we'll call it DeLuz, is kind of up front for Stockdale as they're trying to look to push to get some points on the board. The captain, number 12, Nicholas Souza, kind of playing that midfield right now, had a little bit of possession of the ball. 0-0. There's about 36:55 on there. I'll correct it on the scoreboard for all those people at home worrying about the clock to look at. Want to make sure we have accuracy on here for you guys.
Yeah, it's Centennial. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Centennial. It seems like they're coming more to Stockdale side right now, and hopefully we see them attacking a little bit more as the game goes on, because feel like Centennial is also a great team that that it's not going to stay in their half of the field for a very long time of this game.
Ooh, nice opportunity right there in the box. The header falls short and runs light into the goalkeeper's hands. Your partner, Javier Cervantes, mentioned that the first 10 minutes are critical as you're trying to fill out the other team, see what they're doing, how they're going to play defensively, maybe offensively as well.
Yeah. The first 10, 15 minutes of the game are very crucial because, that's where you're kind of testing the water, see what the other team's offering on the field. And that's, fresh legs off the get-go. And, you start by kind of bringing out your best team and trying to see what you can get in those first 15 minutes when you're still full of energy.
Absolutely. Number 15, Jose Chavez with the kickoff. And the ball is up in the air, and Centennial's trying to gather some control. But number 8, Ben Page, who's kind of been all over the field, takes a shot, hits the crossbar, not the crossbar on the soccer goal, but on the field goal, on the goal post right there. And he's trying to get that in there. Ben Page has kind of been all the way around, but it is the keeper, Daniel Sasso, is able to, he's going to clear it right now for actually, it is the keeper, Martin Navarro, getting the teams mixed up right here, but Martin Navarro clears it for Centennial.
Yeah, this player number 8, Ben Page. At the beginning, I made a mistake by saying that he was the attacker for Stockdale because he's always on. I'll let you take care of this.
Very close. Deleuze was trying to get in there and make a play, but the keeper, Martin Navarro, comes out. But more about Page, you're talking about, you thought he may be the striker, but he's always near the ball. He looks like he's playing that center mid position maybe.
Yeah, I thought he was a striker because he's always inside the box of the opponent's half. But no, he's actually the attacking midfielder for Stockdale. But he's playing a great role there. He's a creative player in charge of creating those important plays that can maybe make a goal happen. And his connection with number 20, with Azier Deleuze, it's going to be very important for tonight's game.
Jose Chavez kicks it out of bounds. It was Daniel Sasso that had got the ball. There almost was an opportunity for Centennial as closing in on there. Number 3, Pascual Morales, and others were closing in, try to get a score for the Centennial Golden Hawks. Nonetheless, 0-0, we're here. 33 minutes left to go, and it looks like it's going to be cleaned up again by Daniel Sasso as he's going to look to kick it deep as we go through. And Daniel Sasso is going to let it rip right now. And leaking out there is Scott Strickland, number 7.
Yeah, it seems like Centennial is getting more control of the ball in the midfield, where the midfield is very important to have control of the ball. There's a saying in soccer that if you have control of the midfield, then you have control of the game. So, let's hope that, both teams fight it out in the midfield and make this game very exciting for us.
I really like that statement that they got control of the midfield, they got control of the game. It's often forgot because, I think in soccer, even if you're the kind of fan, like I'll call myself the kind of fan. I do know who Lionel Messi is, and I do know who Cristiano Ronaldo is, but I'm talking about strikers that are scoring all the goals and putting. And I know who Tim Howard is, and you were talking about a keeper right there. So we're talking about these positions where I think everybody knows that, but it's those guys in the midfield that the true soccer fans know those players on those special teams and why those teams like the Barcelonas and the Real Madrids and all that, why they've been successful in the PSGs and all those teams, why they're successful is not only the strike play that they have, but also the midfield that you talked about is kind of the cog. And the true soccer fans are going to know that. And I'm going to be the first one to admit, I know none of those midfielders that are on those teams, but I do know the importance that it has for them to create those opportunities for the Messis and the Ronaldos and so forth.
Yeah, that you're completely correct. The forwards wouldn't be able to score those goals if it weren't for the midfield, feeding them the great passes.
Nice pass from Mateo Herrera to Jarrett Fiddler, and an even better block by Daniel Sasso, ladies and gentlemen. You're looking at a top goalkeeper here in town, a definite plus to have when you have an aggressive keeper, and it's finding that balance between aggressive and in control at the same time, because sometimes you could be a little out of control and get beyond that to allow easy goals in there. And you coach Daniel Sasso, is that correct, as a
That is
keeper?
correct. We Javier and I do coach him, at the Galaxy Club team, Legacy Club team.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and yeah, he's a great keeper. Definitely offers a lot of confidence in the back.
The ball is crossed to Mateo Herrera, but Mateo Herrera gets hung up a little bit, and the ball ends up going behind the goal, and it's going to be cleared out once again by Daniel Sasso. And Sasso is going to be looking to kick it off, and he's going to just leave it short right here to Anthony Franz, who's going to be playing it from the back, and he sends it through with no real person out there to get it.
Yeah, it seems like the ball's a little bit more divided now towards as the game continues. Both teams are kind of fighting the ball more in the midfield. And, the one that gets control of it's going to be the one who takes control of this game.
Looking for that run. The ref is going to blow his whistle. Possession is going to go to Centennial right now as number 20, that's Deleuze, was a little too aggressive for the ref's liking, and it's going to be cleared out by number 17, Uriel Tapia. And he's going to look to see what he can create. They're probably going to look for the taller Fiddler out there, who, as Coach Vaughn said, one of the top goal scorers in town. And there is a look right there to Fiddler, and he had an opportunity right here that landed just wide left right there. And I think that is the type of ball that Coach Sean Sullivan, to allow that go all the way through, kind of unabated, untested right there to Fiddler. They got to know who he is, and I'm sure every team that plays him knows who Fiddler is. Can't give him those easy opportunities because he may not miss them.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was a great ball served by Uriel Tapia.
Yeah.
Right where the forward wants him, right behind the center back. And between the center back and the goalie, unfortunately for number 7, Jarrett Fiddler, he couldn't put it in.
Absolutely. Ball looks to be cleared this way. That's number 14, number 14, Preston Durbin. Kicks it out to give a little space to allow Stockdale to kind of regroup defensively and make sure no further balls. We're 0-0 live here at Stockdale with about 30 minutes left, just under 30 minutes left, as this is a big Southwest Yosemite League game. And Stockdale's looking for a little bit of run, and there is Deleuze right there looking for it. And our guy of the hour, Ben Page, who's kind of been pushing forward, helped push this Stockdale Mustang thing forward. It's going to be cleared out, and it's going to be Stockdale ball right here, and it's a big throw, and that's number 15, Jose Chavez, is going to be throwing it in.
Yeah, great game that we're broadcasting tonight. Both teams undefeated in their league record, so they're trying to keep it that way for tonight.
Absolutely. A little physicality going on down there. Ben Page right in the middle of all that, and there's going to be a throw-in, and there's a throw-in. Number 17, Mark Chavez, with the ball kind of dancing around. Nice footwork. Number 16, Mateo Massey, not Mateo Messi, but the ball is cleared out, and they had an opportunity to push it forward. And if we're looking at possession and time of ball, it looks like Stockdale has it in that area right there, but nonetheless, we got a lot of soccer, and as we've learned about soccer over the years, it just takes 5 seconds and a kick, and it could be the difference of a game. That's a crazy thing about soccer.
Oh, yeah. I'm seeing a Stockdale team that's very organized, all the way from their center backs to their forwards, doing the correct movements that you need in soccer to be more effective, especially looking, with just one forward. You really need the rest of the team moving all around that forward to get more opportunities and to create more chances going forward.
And it looks like it's number 12, the captain, Nicholas Souza, is looking to push it up. Does it go off Stockdale and it result in a corner kick? I think that's what the call is going to be. And one thing that high school soccer could be known for a little bit more is their set pieces coming off the corner kick, running some plays going that. I was the athletic director at South High for 3 years and saw Coach Brian Smith work on those set pieces day in and day out from the corner, because it seemed to be a lot of opportunities to get some points off that. And the ball comes in, kicked off the corner, and kind of bobbled just a little bit by Martin Navarro. Very shaky on the catch right there. Stockdale, you hear the oohs and the ahs sometimes as it goes in there, but nonetheless, ball's coming back out. and Centennial, see if they can get some time of possession on their side of the field, and they could strike against Stockdale. Number 21 kind of dancing around. That's Miguel Ceja. Passes it deep to number 4, Emilio Ramirez. And they're just kind of playing in the backfield right now, just trying to feel out and wait for their moment to strike and get up there and push it up the field. Maybe just a little bit of sloppy play, and Scott Strickland on the far side. And actually it's going to be number 14, Preston Durbin's going to look to throw it in for the Stockdale Mustangs.
Yeah, as you can see right now, Wiley, Centennial's, being a bit more patient with the ball whenever they have it in control. You know, looking for that pass, looking for that short pass instead of what they were doing at the beginning, looking for that long ball.
Yeah, sending it all the way through.
Yeah, it's gonna result in a better style of play for Centennial High.
Absolutely. 0-0 here at Stockdale at Mustang Stadium. 25 minutes to go in this first half. Big SWYL contest. We got Stockdale Mustangs 2-0, Centennial Golden Hawks 2-0. Two programs are looking to find that identity in SWYL. A lot of great soccer this year. A lot of good teams. South High seems to be back in their winning ways again. Miramonte is back. Not back. They're just kind of come out this year, and they are letting Kern County know that they are here for good. And they big matchup next Tuesday against South High. All as well, Ridge East soccer playing well this year. Independent soccer playing well this year. So a lot of good soccer going on. Shafter High doing pretty well this year, getting where they need to go. So we're curious to see. We got Shafter and Arvin next week. We're going to live stream those two games. Should be a great game to look at. Nonetheless, kind of run into Daniel Sasso. Is trying to direct the traffic back there in this corner kick. And I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, a little too dark. My eyes are a little too old, so I can't see who's kicking the ball in from the corner, and we'll hopefully get that soon. With the dark color uniforms all the way in that corner makes it a little bit tricky to get on there. Nonetheless, there's a kick in, beautiful lefty that goes in there. Centennial wants to stay on the aggressive nature of it, and they're looking for that lefty kick. Kicking it in was Pascual Morales. Just get a number on 3 on the far side. That was the one that had that corner kick early on. And there is an opportunity. Offsides looks like is going to be called to allow for the free kick.
Yeah, they caught
for Stockdale.
They caught Miguel Ceja, number 21, offsides. Like I said before, Stockdale's very organized in the back. They step and they all do it at the same time, which leaves the opponent in an offsides position. And I think if Stockdale continues with this organization in the back, they're not going to allow a goal from Centennial tonight.
Jose Chavez with the kick, and very, 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 very dangerous play that you see right here. Number 34, Martin Navarro, and his defender trying to get a number right here. Look at, but as a coach of Stockdale, I'm paying attention to those little interactions that you have between the keeper and his defender, because you're going to exploit that if they're not communicating and they're running into each other. They're going to remember that. I know you as a coach remember that interaction right there. You want to be in attack mode as much as you can, especially if there's not communication between your keeper and the defenders, and that's number 5, Garrett Argast, and Martin Navarro. Little miscommunications, they ran into each other.
Oh, yeah, that's a crucial part of soccer. Having that communication really allows you to open up other spaces on the field. And, yeah, it's crucial because when it's not there, it does allow the opposing team to kind of, take advantage of that lack of communication and attack your goal a bit more.
And you talked about not only communication, but you brought up a key word, which I think is important. I was talking to Javier in our last broadcast when I was with him, the importance of spacing. Understand your space on the field. If it gets too congested and there's too many people around, you can't really get to work on those pieces and those movements. Ball is in the box right now, and Ceja with a rip of a shot. And number 8, again, Mateo Herrera, but the Stockdale defense is able to hold strong and prevent. And now the ball has kind of switched fields and possessions, and Stockdale's looking to push it. A little bit of pretty good defense from Centennial. But once again, a quick turnover, and there's number 8 looking upfield, Mateo Herrera. And Centennial is going to be looking to push up a little bit as the ball is crossed over to Kohi Hayashi. And it's back to the defense. And we'll see Garrett Argas kind of anchoring that defense in the back. He's a big kid out there to make sure nothing gets by. And there's Argast again, playing great defense in the backfield, but the ball is brought all the way down. And it looks like it's number 17, Mark Chavez, just isn't able to catch up with it. And there is a substitution, it looks like, that's going to take place. I think it's 2 for 2. As Coach Vaughn is trying to find that spark plug from the Centennial Golden Hawks, find that guy coming off the bench who maybe provide a little extra energy as some of these guys have been running around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's a high-paced game, and, you know, Coach Vaughn is definitely trying to exploit those wings and see if he can get a better outcome for this game with these two subs.
Absolutely. Then number 21, Miguel Ceja, probably dribbled just a little too much. Want to work on the quick passing game that I know there's a lot of drills that go on there that work on, you know, just quick tap game and get the ball out, not try to dribble too much. Ooh, number 7, that's Jarrett Fiddler, demonstrating he's one of the top talents in Kern County, dribbling around, slick footwork, and an even nicer pass. And, ooh, what a shot. Number 9, Joey Foster with that lefty, trying to find that upper right V right there. But Jarrett Fiddler, ladies and gentlemen, saw some slick footwork right there by him. Did a pretty solid job right there.
Yeah, and Jared, you know, and solid forward on top, who comes down to receive the ball, which creates a lot of openings on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's what we saw right now. Fiddler coming down, getting that ball, protecting the ball, and then, you know, opening up to the left wing where number 9 got the shot in for Centennial High.
Absolutely. Ben Page sends it all the way through again to Mark Chavez, who's had some opportunities as he's kind of leaked out a little bit. And the keeper, number 34, Martin Navarro, is able to gobble up the ball, and he's going to kick it away.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot from Stockdale these past minutes. You know, Centennial's been pressuring a bit more high, controlling the ball, being patient with the ball, and they have, you know, had a few chances now at Stockdale's goal. And, you know, hopefully Stockdale can get up from that and demonstrate the soccer that they know how to play.
Fiddler, some slick ball work right here. Centers it to the middle to number 8, Mateo Herrera. And Herrera shoots it over the top of it. But I got to tell you what, I've been very, very impressed, not only with his length and his size, but his ability to control the ball and deliver on-time passes to his teammates is pretty impressive.
That's one important thing in high school soccer. You know, players that have a higher maturity soccer-wise, you know, tend to do a little bit better in high school soccer because, you know, they're at a different pace, and, you know, and we see that a lot here from some of the players from both high schools.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's that experience of continually playing, continually having the ball at your feet and practicing and practicing and practicing. You know, some of these, in some other sports, you see a little bit more of the multi-sports and not necessarily the specialization, but you know, I see more often than not soccer players are soccer players, you know what I mean, that you look at it, and so all year round for them, and it's on the weekends, and it's all over the place. And the ball is blasted and cleared out by Stockdale to get it out of their area, and the ball rolls down to Martin Navarro, who is going to hopefully get the Centennial offense going by getting the ball up the field, but it's quickly turned over, and it's sent back to Duluth, who Duluth is trying to find Chavez running on the right side, but the ball is quickly to a standstill. And once again, that's Mateo Herrera trying to figure out where to go with that ball right there. Pretty good defense right here, number 16. That's Mateo Massey for the Stockdale Mustangs. Gives it off to number 12, Nicholas Souza, who then finds Chavez. Back to Ben Page right here, and Chavez calling for the ball. Duluth not on the same page as Page, go figure, but Duluth may have had a step right there. Centennial's trying to reorganize on defense. Chavez trying to get through. Pretty good defense by the Golden Hawks right here. That's number 21, Miguel Ceja. And just like that, the captain, number 12, Nicholas Souza, has the ball. Trying to make something happen on Kobe Fraley, who's tough in the midfield. and he was a player that we talked about in the beginning, but he's just a tough midfielder, makes it difficult.
Yeah, number 12, Nick Sousa, who has the ball right now. He's also one of another one of the club team players. He also plays for Legacy. Great, solid player in the midfield who could also be used in other positions around the field. But yeah, it's always an advantage to have him on the field for playing for your team.
Yeah, Nick Souza, wide left right there on his kick, shot on goal right here. As number 34, Martin Navarro, kicks it away for the Centennial Golden Hawks. And the ball is pressed all the way up the field, and it's going to be kicked out of bounds by number 18, Walter Bryant. We are 0-0 here at Mustang Stadium, about 15 minutes, above 15 minutes and counting it down. Both teams trying to look for that elusive goal that gets in there, that puts it away, and all it needs is just one sometimes to get it going in there.
Wiley, let me inform you that Stockdale is preparing a sub. They're preparing Addison Breeding with his number 10 jersey to come on the field anytime.
And the ball's getting played through. DeLuce is looking to get that ball. Ooh, and very, very close as he runs right by Navarro. I got to say this. Been a few little miscues, and Navarro may look a little shaky sometimes, but he's played a solid game. And once again, a beautiful ball right there by Fiddler. And Fiddler gets it to number 25, Kellen Tyra. Looks like is out there, but once again, the ball skills, ladies and gentlemen, of Fiddler is extremely impressive, as he's done a good job.
There's going to be a sub now for Stockdale High. Addison Breeding with his number 10 jersey. Or actually, no, number 2. Hold on, they're having some confusion.
Maybe they have multiple.
Here. Yeah, number 10, Addison Breeding coming in for number 14, defender Preston Durbin. Oh, no, let me correct that. Number 10 coming in for number 17, Mark Chavez. And number 2, defender Sean Pitstick coming in for number 14, defender Preston Durbin.
Absolutely. Thank you for getting that in there. And that, as you look at these last 15 minutes, you can save those guys, get them a little breather going into halftime, see what's going on. DeLuce has been very active and busy from his forward position. And the guy coming off the bench, that sense of energy, number 10, Breedling, Addison Breedling, already causing a little disruption in the Golden Hawks defense. And the other guy that just came in, Sean Pitstick, is going to look like he's going to be throwing the ball in for the Mustangs.
Yeah, definitely. Stockdale's going to be looking for their number 10 player who's coming in with fresh legs. They're hoping that he can create something and get a goal for Stockdale High before the first half ends.
And actually that number 10 came right off, takes a shot, but he is wide right and way above the goal. And we're going to see how these next few minutes unfold going into half. If a team usually scores, it gives them that positive momentum going into halftime.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want in a soccer game. You want to be comfortable going into the second half.
Yeah.
You want to have that lead, even if it's minimal by one goal. But, it always gives you a peace of mind to, just be winning the game.
Absolutely.
Before the first half ends.
Little unforced error right here by number 10. That's Addison Breedling as the ball goes off his foot. And it's going to be, I think, number 25, Kellen Tyra, that's going to be throwing the ball in. And dancing around is number 8, Mateo Herrera. He's going to be looked at playing it back.
I like how Stockdale, Centennial, gets the ball to its midfielders, and then the midfielders use the right backs and the left backs quite a lot, to get that ball into space, looking for one of their forwards or one of their attacking wingers, and I feel like Centennial is doing a great job with that. Something that, hopefully in the second half we can see a little bit more from Stockdale High.
So it looks like Fiddler was setting up for the free kick right there. Ref didn't like what he saw. Maybe a little bit too aggressive was Nicholas Souza. And then coming on right now to kick. And we'll try and get you a number here in just a second.
I believe number 9, Joey Foster.
Joey Foster, I believe, is right. Gets up there, is trying to find a leaking Herrera that gets through there. But Stockdale's able to clear it out. And Centennial's looking, trying real quick. And there's a setup right here. And, oh, kicks off there, but it actually looks like Centennial's going to be called offside. But opportunities for Fiddler as he was closing in, and the ball went off the right bar.
It was a great play by Centennial, surprising the Stockdale defense. It was a set play. One of the plays that you practice along, during one of the plays that you practice during the week. Trying to catch the other team by surprise, and it almost worked, but the ball was a little behind for their attacking player, and now it's Stockdale's ball.
Absolutely, and number 10 coming off the bench, Addison Breeding has been pushing it, and I thought right there he tried to be a little too fancy and kind of push it back. I'd like to see a little bit more aggression and have him take a shot on goal right there, because I think he had the opportunity in the right lane where he had no one to his right side, and he had some moments to clear that out.
Yeah, sometimes in soccer when you have the ball, you feel like you have more time than you actually do.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do another play, that time doesn't allow you to do, and you end up losing the ball like Addison did right now.
I think Addison, that's the one thing he didn't think he had enough of, and he actually had a lot of it. He had a lot of space right there. He could work on that right side. Nonetheless, throw in for the Centennial Golden Hawks. We got about 10 minutes left to go in the first half of this Southwest Yosemite League matchup between Centennial and Stockdale. A natural rivalry game between these two. Relatively came about the same time in the early to mid 90s right here that we see these teams coming in. So the rivalry was established on the west side from both these schools, and the Mustangs and the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, both teams trying to keep their undefeated record in league so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Centennial looking for their second win in league. Stockdale looking for their third win in league. And let's see how they do tonight.
Well, looking on Max Preps earlier today, I saw both of them were 2-0. So I don't know the validity of that goes on there as we look on there, but assuming, and Fiddler's pushing the ball up there, and Fiddler one-on-one, but man, you got to give it up to Daniel Sasso taking a calculated risk right there where he's able to kick it out of bounds. But Fiddler is letting his presence be known out there as a big, tall kid out there that is a presence that you have to deal with as they're kind of going through.
Yeah, Fiddler, a great player that knows how to position himself in the right spot to get that ball and create some opportunities. But goalie for Stockdale, Daniel Sasso, knows how to play his 18-yard box, and he knows when to come out, when to not come out, and he does a great job coming out in this one and blocking that shot from Fiddler.
Yeah, absolutely. Got talent on talent. Fiddler quickly wants to get that ball in, and Fiddler heads it off the Stockdale defender, and it's going to be a corner kick, and it looks like it's going to be one of the key players we talked about early. Kobe Fraley is going to go, and he is going to kick the corner kick. And I know that on a lot of people's minds, number 7, Jarrett Fiddler, is a constant.
We can see that Centennial is attacking the ball, starting in the second post. Maybe someone's going to make a run in to the first post and get
absolutely.
That goal.
Ball's open right here. Oh, getting a little crazy, a little hairy, and Page pushes out the loose with the ball. I got to give it up to Page. He is a very crafty player up there. I've been impressed with his game tonight and what he's been able to do. You talked about it early on. He just seems always to be around the ball. And football, American football, we call those ball hawks that are always around the ball. And maybe you call that in soccer, I don't know. But, a guy that always seems to have a knack for where the ball is at and what he can do when it's in his hands. Or in his foot, I gotta say. Yep. I gotta get that correct on there. Not a running back. Yeah, football. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's really no word to describe a player like that, but it's just a player who's hungry to win the game, who's hungry to have the ball at his feet and create some chances for his team and contribute as much as possible.
Absolutely. As we say that, Ben Page has the ball right now, passing around to his teammates, and it's back to Ben Page. He's going to look to try and create something, and it looks like the ball is going to go out of bounds to Stockdale. It's going to set up some decent field position that we have right here. And it's going to be a throw-in, and it's going to look like the captain, number 12, Nicholas Sousa, is going to be throwing it in.
Yeah, they're going to look into the long throw, see if they can get something out of it. Actually, no, they go
Go for a little short
Yeah.
throw. Different philosophies that we look at and all that stuff. Is it going to be a corner kick or is it going to be a throw-in? Wait to see what the official's position is on that. And it looks like it's going to be a throw-in. And because it's in a similar spot to the corner kick, it looks like it's going to be, oh, once again, we're both wrong. I thought it was going to be a long kick in there.
Yeah.
But Ben Page puts it to the middle right here and trying to find some space, but Centennial is able to hunt it down. And good little run through by Emilio Ramirez. Not a bad ball. I mean, it's able to get the ball, get away from Stockdale ability to strike. Number 2, that's Sean Pitstick with a slick move and a blast by kind of the man of the hour that I'm looking at that I've been very impressed with his game. Is Ben Page has been kind of all around the ball and doing things right there. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, definitely a player that should have the ball more at his feet. You know, if Stockdale wants to get that win tonight. He has a great shot, as we saw it right now. It's just unfortunate for him. It went over the goal. But, yeah, a player that needs to be involved the 40 minutes, of every half. And, a player that would definitely do a lot of benefits for Stockdale High.
Closing in on the 5-minute mark as we get on there. Martin Navarro kicks the ball away for Stockdale. I would say right now 2 guys that we're looking at, Ben Page and Jarrett Fiddler on opposing teams, have been kind of the difference, kind of the playmakers on their team, trying to find that little bit of wiggle room as they get in there. The ball's thrown in. And here comes Fiddler with a slick pass right here and has an opportunity. That's number 23, Koihi Hayashi. And hopefully I'm not butchering that name too bad looking on there. But nonetheless, Jarrett Fiddler with a beautiful pass right there. And, I'm going to be saying this all night. I've seen a lot of soccer this year. That's pretty top talent right there with Fiddler. He's demonstrating some pretty slick movements with the feet.
Oh, yeah, he can demonstrate that he can keep a ball at his feet, and then he's also demonstrating that he can give a great ball behind the defense of Stockdale.
Absolutely. He's one of those forwards that are supposed to be the strikers, and I think he could strike it any time he wants, but he's also letting everyone know that he could also pass the ball and give those assists when need be.
Yeah, he's definitely a playmaker for Centennial.
And there's Fiddler as he meets right now, and there is a whistle right now, but Fiddler and Daniel Sasso met up at the same time, and I got to give this up to this officiating crew. There's contact right here, and I like this no call and a yellow card or anything like that. The game's under control, all of that. I like seeing that type of play. I think these officials have called a very good game tonight. Not a lot of cards, letting them play, but also there's a lot of control going on there because we've seen games where that's not necessarily the case. So,
yeah, they've been doing a great job at keeping the flow of the game.
And it's Duluth right now that is going to be leaking out right there. And number 2, and it looks like that's going to be a corner kick as number 2, Cody Gregg. I don't think they got a firm grip on that. And that, I got to say, that's not the outcome that I think he wanted. I think he'd rather have it go out of bounds and rather have that corner kick. But it's given back to Duluth, and Duluth is trying to find that left V right there in that left post, but misses it just right there. And you notice that quick thing. As the defense is trying to get set up, they do a quick inbounds right there. You see some of those quick plays every now and again that happen, but
yeah, a great play that catches the defense on their heels. Still trying to organize, and you play quickly. It creates a lot of openings, to attack that goal.
Absolutely. And the ball is played off, and that's number 17, Uriel Tapia.
Yeah, unfortunate for Uriel, who looking for that right winger, and he kicks it out of bounds, and now it's a Stockdale ball.
Absolutely. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We're winding down. For those of you out there watching, in 2 minutes it'll stop, and we'll get some stoppage time in here. Still 0-0 in this Southwest Yosemite League match between Stockdale and Centennial.
Yeah, it's been a great game so far. Both
Ben Page to Duluth right now. As he's going through, Duluth is dribbling the ball around. He's had a few opportunities here or there. Strong left foot. Is he's going to keep trying to find that as he's playing that. Martin Navarro, though, who a little shaky early on, has really played solid in this first half, getting in there. And there's been opportunities Stockdale's had to strike, and he's been rock solid.
Yeah, I feel like they lose a little bit selfish in the last play. He had players on the wings that were making the runs, and he opted for the shot that 30 yards out. But if that's what the coach wants, that's he's doing a great job at that.
We are at 2 minutes and going down, and that right there, a little bit too much shoving right there, and Duluth is given a yellow card. And especially when you're in stoppage time, especially at the end of the half, silly fouls like that are critical that you just don't want to have. And I think the coach is looking at that as like, why are we doing it that at that time? Looking at that, Cody Gregg is going to be kicking it off. And Centennial right now, they're going to try and sneak one in. Not sure what our stoppage time situation is, but as it ticks down, as we get out there, that is Daniel Sasso, who has played a very tough and headsy game as we kind of move forward.
Yeah, we were just talking about the clean game and how the referees had control of the game with no cards given out.
Yeah,
and then,
knock on wood. Yeah, it happens right there. As number 10, that's Breeding, comes in. Trying to figure this out. And it looked like it was handball right there, and it got a little bit too high for the ref's liking, and Nicholas Souza. So when a card comes out, I notice sometimes in soccer, if one card comes out, then it's kind of expected, if there's a similar type of situation that goes in there. So that's when I don't envy a ref's position, because you never have the right call, even if you're right.
Yeah, especially in high school soccer, a yellow card is it affects
big deal.
the team.
Yeah,
it's a big deal because you have to sub that player out, and it leaves you without that talent inside the field, and it's a little bit different, than professional soccer.
Absolutely. Well, it is halftime here at Stockdale High School. 0-0 tie between Centennial Golden Hawks and the Stockdale Mustangs. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. But when we come back, we're going to have first half thoughts and analysis, say a word to our sponsors and all the people that make things happen around here. We'll be back in about 5 minutes live on Kern High Network at kernhighnetwork.com.
Every team trains hard. Every team prepares to win. But when U.S. Army soldiers take the field, it's best if the other guys don't bother showing up. See if you have what it takes at goarmy.com/team.
One thing about Kern Schools is you get to do your banking your way.
I'm a traditional banker. I still like writing checks and visiting my branch.
As a millennial, for me, it's all about the mobile.
And I'm somewhere in between. I still do everything online or through an ATM.
So no matter how you do your banking, Kern Schools is always there. That's why we're the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our low mortgage rates, including 60-day rate lock and no cost to you. Purchase or refinance your home today.
Kern Schools, together we have something special.
This is where we're going to train the kids to actually get jobs in the industry. We're going to give them the basic tools that they need, also the skills that they need to understand where they fit into the industry.
All the animated things, because we have everything that we need in the scenes.
They are learning the principles of animation, Photoshop. They're learning how to animate in 2D and 3D. And when you swap to that shape, then you're just going to drag these over here.
The storyboard aspect of creating basically the skeleton of the story, and then just sort of directing people in my vision of what I want in the story. And it's also giving me the advantage of Mr. Pollard, since he's worked at so many companies, being able to put it in my resume and be like, this is the art direction I've received.
We're learning a lot about how mobile apps are made, the programming and coding that goes into it, along with the time and effort. Along with that is also the entrepreneurship of the class, learning how to run our own business.
We're also learning basic marketing skills, people skills, graphic design, and social media marketing so that they can freelance, they can work on their own, they can apply for a job, they can go to BC or Cal State or any other university who offers programs that are specific within the mobile app development concentration or business concentration.
With my future and career, I do plan on being somewhat of an entrepreneur, owning my own business, sort of a clothing brand line. And so this will definitely help me out with possibly an app for my company, and the entrepreneur part helping me be able to run my business as smoothly as I can make it go.
Right now we're learning the different roles, what a game designer is, what they do, and how video games are made and how to deconstruct them.
We're also going to be teaching the hard skills, which includes learning the Unreal Engine. And what the Unreal Engine is it's a game development tool that students will be able to use to make their very own video games. And this is something that actually industry professionals use every day to make some of the top-selling games. They're all the same size. You're all on the same plane. There's no undulating terrain or anything like that.
Our instructor, he's really amazing. He encourages everybody. He's really fun and he makes learning fun.
So they've got top-of-the-line computers here and they're set up to excel. I would be surprised if other students their age coming out of high school would have anywhere near the level of expertise that these guys are going to have.
Welcome back, everybody. Very excited. It is soccer weather. I really dread soccer season sometimes when I was the athletic director at South High School because of the frigid air that goes on there. And Boise State is known for having a blue field. The Kern High School District is known for having its soccer fields be yellow when the grass dies out, unless you put that winter rye on there.
Sometimes brown with all the dirt and mud that goes
sometimes
on.
Brown and dirt and all that stuff too as well. But you know it's soccer season as we get going on there. Teams do the best they can to get out there. Very excited in the world of soccer as we looked at in the Kern High School District. There's 8 schools currently in the Kern High School District that have introduced frosh-soft soccer, and that's a big, big move for our district, and I think for Kern County at large as we're trying to really expand soccer. You know, a lot of times there are freshmen that are cut. I remember at South High being the athletic director there'd be like 20 to 30 kids that wouldn't make the team that are like on those bubble kids that they just need something to do to be a part of. And I think that is a great thing. And I think next year we're going to really expand to all our schools having frosh-soft soccer. 3 levels of soccer when it's just been JV and varsity that goes on there. Great thing.
Yeah, that's a great thing because I feel like there's a lot of talent, you know, in all the schools in the Kern County District, and you know, and it's a great opportunity, like you said, you know, cutting players. It's you know, me as a coach, I hate doing that because some of these players are very talented, but because I'm limited to a certain amount of players, they sometimes they don't make the team. But I'm glad that schools are coming up with this and and taking advantage of this new idea that's going on with the frost off.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we go there, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors, the United States Army, who's been with us all year this year, has been a generous financial sponsor that has really carried a lot of what we do and has allowed for us to put this on air as part of the Kern Network. Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, also a very, very major donor that has really helped out what we're doing. Pav Solar has been with us from day one. Mike's Fencing has been a part of that too a little bit. We got to give out a Tony's Pizza Player of the Game, and we got to look at that. And Tony's Pizza, we always got to give them a shout out. Raymond's Trophies is coming in a number of Kern High School District events, and they've really been a generous sponsor. Got to give a shout out to the administrations of each school. New principal at Stockdale High School, Scott Odlin, and Tashawn Winston, the assistant principal of instruction, Teddy Armio, the assistant principal of administration, the athletic director who's done a wonderful job for us tonight, Justin Roberts, Leah McLean is the activities director, and that rounds out the Stockdale administration. At Centennial, you got Principal Dean Juola, you got the assistant principal of instruction, Christy Tao, you got the assistant principal of administration, Chris Sanchez. You got the dean of students, Jeremy Newfield. Always got to give a shout out to Jeremy Newfield, active watcher of the Kern High Network. And we also have the athletic director, Tom Haskell, who is running the Kern County Invitational for wrestling. We watched some wrestling today early on. And then we also have Jana Chapman, who is the activities director. Quick, Udio, name all those people I just said.
Oh, wow.
Okay, never mind. All right, so here we go as we get going into the second half as we look at this, and this is going to be a big opportunity for both teams to see which one can pull ahead. And we'll start that clock right when the official blows his whistle as we get going. Live other game, it looks like it's Liberty 1, Frontier 0. In that girls' soccer game, and that's a big game. We're going to have highlights and replays within the next few days of these games as we get going. Ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, let's see if the teams came out a little bit more motivated after what the coaches had to say during the 10 minutes they get at halftime. Like I said before, both teams looking to keep that control of the midfield area, and which is going to dictate the way the game goes for both of these high schools. Yeah, now we see that Stockdale High is attacking through the right side, looking for that opportunity that gives them the goal, and they will give them the W for tonight.
So let's see what team makes the halftime adjustments as they go on there. Let's see if Centennial pushes it a little bit more than what they did in the first half. If I'm looking out right now, I see Fiddler on the far side. See if Stockdale continues to push it just a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like Centennial can change a little their formation, now playing with two forwards. Giving another partner to Fiddler, so he's not so lonely on top.
That looks like it's Tyler Ricci is kind of the one kind of on the near side towards us that is kind of complementing kind of a two-forward look up there right with Fiddler to see if they can allow to take maybe some of the pressure away where Fiddler can save some of his energy without having to create everything all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, since he does a great job of holding the ball and looking for that second run, maybe now Fiddler can continue to do that, but now he's going to have a player closer to him that can actually take advantage of, Fiddler's talent there.
Sean Pitstick came in the first half. He has that kind of lefty blast. I got to say, I'm partial to lefties. I am left-handed myself right here, and I love watching Lionel Messi. I'd much rather watch him than Cristiano Ronaldo. and it's arguing who's better. I'm going to say Messi's better.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
going to have the critics that come out right there. I'll say the original Ronaldo. I'm giving that. Number 9 on Brazil. The original Ronaldo is a beast. He's like 2 inches taller than me, another 20 pounds bigger than me, and he's just a man-child playing forward.
Yeah, you're talking about a great player.
He's my favorite all time.
You know, world champ with Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. At the Korea Japan World Cup, I believe it was 2006, and he had a hat trick in the championship. And here we go. Deleuze right here is trying to push it up there, but it's number 2. Cody Gregg is able to play some decent defense, but Souza is able to get the ball. That's number 12 for Stockdale, trying to put it across in the middle. And pit stick by Page to pit stick again.
You know, once again, like we saw in the first half, Stockdale attacking a bit more, you know, pressuring Centennial's defense a bit more. But, you know, unfortunately for them, they're a little tired.
But here's
now.
the dynamic player right here with Fiddler as he goes down. And I'll say this, a different approach that Fiddler took right there. He's kind of the train going in there rather than the slick moves that we saw in the first half. And maybe he changes that up a little bit. Maybe he's trying to press and make something happen. Sometimes when you're a top goal scorer, you try to press a little bit too much. Sometimes that's just part of your game. You try to press and force that goal in there. But nonetheless, we see right here, I got to say, I wonder what is wrong with Walter Bryant, number 18. He's got stuff leaking out of his nose. I think he's got bandaged up a little bit. You know, he's a pretty tough kid. Sean Sullivan puts him back in there. He's a defender. I call the defenders kind of like the linebackers in American football. Those are those tough guys that just sit back there. And if you're not careful, you don't have your head on a swivel, you get blown up every now and again. They're those defenders, if they're like linebackers, maybe a little bit crazy, maybe a little bit aggressive and intense, but they are the tone setters for a team when you got a strong defense in the back right there.
Yeah, definitely. He's that type of player that, you know, you don't want to be one-on-one with him because he's physical, he's fast, and, you know, he's very aggressive going towards the ball.
Absolutely. It's going to be a free kick right here. This is Tapia coming right there. I wish I knew Spanish so I can make sure the accents are correct. Uriel Tapia. I will say this. I hope high school officials, I know they march out those 10 yards or whatever it is, but I wish they had that foam stuff that you see in the World Cup that goes out there so it can mark on there. Tapia gives it all the way across, and there's an opportunity right there. And, and it's a goal! Number 8 coming in right there is Mateo Herrera with the goal off the miss, and just like that, Centennial goes up 1-0 with about 34 minutes left to go. And just like that, Centennial in this SWYL match is able to score a goal. And that is number 8, Mateo Herrera, with the goal for the Centennial Golden Hawks.
Yeah, a great goal after a great ball that was served by Tapia, to the box where it hurts the keepers. You know, just in between the penalty spot and the goal line. You know, it landed in Fiddler's feet.
And Deleuze is trying to make a play right here. And just like that, goes over the top. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot of excitement going on right now. And Addison Breeding sending it over the top, and he's biting his shirt. And I know that look. That means you had an opportunity that you let slip away right there in order to equalize his game right now.
It was a great opportunity. Unfortunate for him, he was called offsides by the linesman. But, yeah, definitely Stockdale looking to tie this game up, you know, after falling to a Centennial goal a few seconds ago. Now we see that we have Ben Page down after a tough challenge in the center of the field. You know, he's getting the assistance, but he seems like he's going to continue. You know, he's a tough player, great player, talented, very talented, you know, who's going to continue providing that talent for Stockdale High.
Absolutely. And I got to say this, part of it is, hopefully I didn't yell goal too loud right there for you, but part of my excitement of calling soccer is being able to yell goal right there. I'm going to hog that every time. I'm just going to say that right off the bat.
Go for it. It's all yours.
And Julian knows how I feel about that right there, the excitement. And here's the thing, in football, I'm pretty chill and pretty calm when it comes to touchdowns. They happen. You know how that goes. I try to be, except for one this year, I will say that. I was fortunate to call the Highland South High. Ooh, very, very dangerous. And he's trying to play with his feet. And Daniel Sasso, I think as a coach, you want to say to him, you know better than that. Pick up the ball and kick that away right there.
Yeah, got a little too comfortable with the ball there after receiving it from a center back.
We're impressed with your footwork there, Sasso, but sometimes you just got to pick the ball up because you're the only guy on the field that can do that right there. I'll say this, I got a little excited this year calling football. Highland South High won on a Hail Mary. I think I lost it, and that's just the emotion of the game right there. But that's allowed to happen when you win on a Hail Mary right there. Nonetheless, we're back here, SWYL, on a big goal from number 8, Mateo Herrera. Was able to sneak one in and get that in there, and it is 31 minutes and 35 seconds and counting. And Mateo Herrera gets the first goal for the Centennial Golden Hawks, and they're up 1-0. And this is where Sean Sullivan kind of doesn't want to be because they've actually been the aggressive team tonight, and Centennial has kind of been more patient team. And for Jeff Vaughn, he could sit back and focus on playing that tough defense that he's been playing all night with the likes of number 5, Garrett Argas has played a solid game defensively. But Duluth right here getting loose, and Duluth, and I'm going to say this, number 34, Martin Navarro, is another solid stop right there, as Duluth was maybe a little bit hesitant, but Navarro's had a pretty good game tonight for being a keeper in some big situations.
Yeah, both goalies, performing very well in tonight's game. Both protecting the goal for their high schools and not allowing the ball to go in. Unfortunate for Daniel Sasso, there was nothing he can do about that shot. But
here comes Fiddler right here with the ball, and the maestro right here, and Fiddler tries to cross it to his teammate, number 25, Kellen Tyra. But nonetheless, Daniel Sasso was the one that was able to cut that off. 1-0, Centennial has this lead going on right now. And once again, what Navarro did, he just played it with his hands because he can. And we saw that Sasso being a little bit careless with that ball the other time. There's a part of me, my gut's telling me that next time you see Sasso, you're going to have a little conversation with him about that. Absolutely, when you see that. Come club season, you're going to be working on some of those drills to make sure he has that on there.
Or I might just use him as a forward for the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
After seeing that,
if you want to use your feet, you want to have that, yeah. So here comes Page, and Page pushes the ball forward, and that is a great ball. And Duluth was trying to get loose right there, and I'll be saying that a lot, but nonetheless.
Yeah, very great ball, and threw a ball by Ben Page that, put it right behind the defense, and unfortunate for Duluth, he wasn't able to get there.
Yeah.
Because Centennial's goalkeeper, who's been doing a great job tonight.
Yeah, and see, that's a tough one right there in an age of concussions and head injuries and things like that. I've seen old school keepers dive at people's feet, you know what I mean, and the ball is cleared out by number 11, Jorge Torres. I've seen keepers dive at people's feet, maybe get that concussion, things like that. Very, very dangerous in that 18-yard line right there where you look at. But nonetheless, he was able to get rid of it. No real damage that goes on there. But I'll tell you, a very aggressive, tough keeper that gets in there, is unafraid, that barrels in there, is a game changer to get in there.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Some of these plays are very physical, and I'm glad that Centennial has a goalie that's very smart coming out for, to kick that ball away and avoid that physical contact.
Yeah. So as the ball is getting pressed forward, as we see right here, ooh, quick switch around. That's number 15, Jose Chavez, able to turn around. Ben Page tries to kick, and I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's a little bit of mustard on that ball when it was kicked. It was curving all over the place, and the man of the hour that I thought played a shaky first few minutes, Martin Navarro, number 34, with an impressive keep to stay in there. It reminded me of like a ground ball that an infielder gets where it's just kind of bouncing all over the place. But nonetheless, the man with the plugged up nose, and I got to tell you, Walter Bryant, he's got that thing plugged up right there in a sport that involves mass conditioning and running up and down. The ability to breathe in your nose is critical, and to have that clogged up right there, I'm impressed with that young man's toughness right there as he's able to get out there.
Definitely a warrior that wants to be on the field, trying to get that W for his team.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that shot from Ben Page, that ball from our point of view, is bouncing all over the place. Navarro does a great job at holding that ball and keeping it close to his chest. I think his confidence after Centennial scoring that goal, has risen so high that I think Stockdale's going to have a tough time scoring on Navarro tonight.
Greg pushes the ball up there. Stockdale defender kicks it out of bounds. It's going to be a throw. And the one thing about soccer that will forever be a mystery, and no matter how many times people try to explain this to me, basically, and Julian can attest to this, is when you throw the ball in, I've realized in soccer, you basically have the length of the field to run up and down. That's what it seems like to me. And you can't tell me you're wrong. I've seen guys where a ball gets out of bounds, and they're running 40 yards down the sidelines right there. Don't try to explain it to me because I'm not going to agree with you. It doesn't make sense to me. So
it does not make sense.
Javier tried to explain it to me last time. It still didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But nonetheless, Centennial trying to add to this lead as number 25, and that is Kellen Tyra, tries to center it up, but now the ball is indeed centered up. And number 15, Jose Chavez, who I'm going to say Jose Chavez has had a pretty nice little game. He's been one guy that has had some runs and all that stuff, and he's leaked out and done some great things for Stockdale to give him an opportunity. And there's Chavez right there again, and an interesting contact, and I think it's going to be a yellow as legs locked up, and the yellow is going to be placed, I believe, on Centennial and Cody Gregg. Interesting call right there. Yeah, tough one because they're both going for the ball at the time. I don't think it was a malicious hit that he was trying to knock him down. I think they were both trying to go for the ball. And nonetheless.
Yeah, I think he's getting that yellow card for the dangerous play. He's going cleats up. Maybe there wasn't a whole lot of contact in this play. But, that's what the referee's trying to avoid, because when you go with your cleats up and the other player hits you, it could cause some serious injuries there. It seems like the Stockdale player who was involved in that contact, still down, hurting from his ankle. So, it appears like he did receive some of that contact from Centennial's player. We hear the fans out here asking for the red card. They feel like that contact was, should have been more than just a yellow. Yeah, Coach Sullivan is bringing their player, number 15, out. Jose Chavez is going to be coming out to, have that injury checked after the contact that happened with Centennial's player.
If it was a little bit more, I think the legs got linked up and got hit up. I don't think it was malicious enough for a red to look at that. And I think it's a right call of giving that yellow right there. It's tough, though, when you got a guy that gets injured, you automatically going to think it's red. But, accidents happen when you look at, especially that fiddler. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. See how that, great defense by number 22, Anthony Franz. And Anthony Franz is able to do some great things out there with the ball. Got to be impressed with that. Is they've marked up and overall done a good job on Fiddler this half. He hasn't had that slick ball movement that we saw early on. And nonetheless, DeLuce gets the ball out. That's number 6, Elias Garabai. Hopefully I get these names right, ladies and gentlemen. I butcher them.
Yeah,
I struggle sometimes with the phonetical aspect of this, but we do the best we can to make sure that these kids get their name called and we get it right and accurate, but we do apologize if we say it wrong. Nonetheless, DeLuce with the ball. Pretty slick with that. Like I said, I like those lefties. And, in this day and age, I'm sure he's looking up to Lionel Messi. He's got that number 10. Oh, he's got number 20 on there. I was going to say he's got that jersey on there. He's trying to look at that. And the ball is cleared out by Centennial. I actually don't mind that ball right there to get it away from the forward DeLuce as they're trying to get it out there. And the throw is going to be by number 14, Preston Durbin, on this side of the ball. And there's going to be a substitution, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think they're substitution for Stockdale High. Number 16, Mateo Masi coming out, and number 4, defender Adam Mayer going into the game.
And I'll say another thing about soccer, and I'm standing away from Udi because I'm standing by Julian because he knows what I'm saying. You'll never be able to justify why we got to put a lime green jersey on a sub just to let the world know that they're being subbed in. We just switch them out in the American sports, man, to look at that. No, nonetheless, that is just these traditions that what I love about soccer, I think more than a lot of sports that you have, are the traditions and the customs that run deep in countries and different things to look at. It's just amazing. I mean, soccer is just worldwide phenomenon. It impassions fans and different things like that as well. And I'm always intrigued by that. A few years ago, 2014, I was in Germany, Czech Republic, and Poland, and that's when the World Cup was going on, and that happened to be the year that Germany won. And I was in the quarterfinal game, kind of by the Brandenburg Gate, where the fan zones were, right in the middle of Berlin. And it's just the thousands. I mean, it is a spectacle. Here we go. Stockdale pushing the ball up forward. Duluth again, and it was number 4, Adam Maher. Man, this Stockdale team's got a lot of players that have been pushing the ball up forward. And the man with the stuff on his nose playing tough, number 18, Walter Bryant. If I'm John Gruden on Monday Night Football, he's my Gruden grinder, just playing tough right there. I love seeing that get in there, but he nonetheless is you got to like seeing that. And as a coach, you know that when you got a player that's willing to play through an injury and stuff like that, you get inspired as a coach because you love that type of kid.
Yeah, definitely. You know that he's not going to let his team down. You know that, it's an injury like that, it's not going to stop him from playing the game.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop him from trying to, get that W for his team.
I love what you bring up, your rhetoric about the team. It's, there's that collective community that goes with the team and team sports and why we love it. And Julian and I played football and you played soccer, and we look at that. It's all about 11 guys on that field together, playing together, struggling together, doing all of that together. And if a guy can play and he's got some wipes in his nose and things like that and he can still play, then he can still play.
Yeah, it serves as a motivation for the other players on the team, They see him as a leader. He's still out here, bleeding out for us, and so that kind of inspires them to continue, trying to play hard and trying to give their 100%.
Yeah. So here the ball gets moved around. Number 18, Cole Perez, into the game that we've looked at. Fiddler down there trying to make something happen for his teammates. Daniel Sasso cruising in on that 19-minute mark, 19-20, and Centennial up 1-0 on that goal by Mateo Herrera. See his goal and all highlights of tonight's game on KHSD, at KHSD Athletics on Twitter. See it on Facebook at Kern High Network. This game will be archived on the Kern High Network too as well. Very impressive. Mateo Herrera was able to capture that rebound, and no matter what it says in the box scores, you get that goal and you get that in there. 1-0 Southwest Yosemite League play.
Yeah, now you have the referee calling a free kick for Centennial after Stockdale's number 10, Addison Breeding, missed the ball, kind of strike the ball there, and landed that kick on number 23 from Centennial High.
So the ref is going to call out Breedling. He's going to talk with him, and it's going to be a yellow card.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah, big decision there by the referee.
And I wonder if that was a similar call that was made earlier on the previous yellow that we saw against Greg, where they locked legs and all that stuff. Once again, I don't think that was malicious. I think it's part of the game sometimes, but I think, once again, do you maintain control of that? I think if you set a precedence and you're calling things a little too much, it could lead to some issues later on. Nonetheless, Centennial with the free kick, and the ball goes up there, and Daniel Sasso is able to bring it down. but what makes that area of the field inside that 18-yard box, you don't know where the ball's going to go. It's a round ball, but you don't know where it's going to go. So very dangerous nonetheless. Well, guys had a great game. Jose Chavez is able to get the ball on the left side. He crosses a nice ball. I got to say, he crossed it to loose, and it was just within inches. But Martin Navarro, who has had a pretty solid game at the keeper position, has come in, and he throws it away right there.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Chavez back in the field. You know, he was out earlier due to an injury, but you know, I'm happy to see him back in there running and, you know, continuing to play on this game.
Yeah, and as Stockdale's trying to play the ball, trying to play consistent with some passes, I think it's making some of the fans a little antsy as they're yelling, hey, we got to press him, we got to get going. 15 minutes as we're closing on that 15-minute mark.
Centennial is doing something that's very important in soccer. You know, they're managing that game.
Yeah.
They're winning 1-0. You know, the more they have possession of the ball, the less dangerous Stockdale is going to be. So, you know, and got to give it up for Coach Bond, that, you know, who's telling their players to keep the ball, and they're doing a great job at it.
And the ball's kicked, and it goes beyond there. But I'll also tell you this. One thing I noticed about Centennial, their spacing is really well right now, and allows those passing lanes, the ball to go through unabated, untouched. So that plays a critical role in this game, too, as well as we get going.
Yeah, Stockdale tries to pressure and attack, you know, to get that draw.
Here we go, Fiddler right here with a beautiful ball right here, and is brought down, and no call right there going on. Some people may have thought that as Nicholas Souza, we talked about that name tonight as the captain of the team, brought that in there. A call is made as a Centennial Golden Hawk ends up on the ground. Much to the disagreement of some of the fans here going on as he ended on the ground in the student section. And very, very disagreement. You hope fans could get some of their language under control and all that stuff too as well as they're down there. The Stockdale fans, known as the Black Hole, they are rowdy, they are fun, they like to support their teams. They believe it one of the, you know, kind of top around, but nonetheless, Centennial gets the ball, gets that free kick, and they're looking for Fiddler, and I think everyone is looking for that tallest, best player over there, and Duluth is able to get the ball down in the back, but Centennial turns it over real quick. Ooh, a lot of activity happened down there within the goal box, and I think it's going to be out of bounds, and I can't tell if it's a corner kick or if it's going to be a throw-in for Centennial, but as we're just under 15 minutes to go, I think the impatience on the Stockdale side is starting to weigh down on some people as they're moving forward.
Yeah, Stockdale's getting, you know, a little desperate now as the time keeps running. You know, not being able to find that hole or that gap to put in that ball, you know, that could give them the goal. You know, they're leaving a lot of gaps in the back where Centennial's taking advantage of those, and you know, right now they're still in Stockdale's 18-yard box. Ooh, what a shot from Centennial.
And Centennial, I think, would like the cushion of that extra goal as we get in there, as they move forward in the second half. And it's going to be a Centennial throw-in. Both the side official and the center referee agreed, but nonetheless, Stockdale is able to get the ball back quickly again. Number 17 making a bolt for it. And that's the one thing, is these players get better and better. The good ones always have control, even going 100 miles an hour, have control with the ball and able to slow it down a little bit. Is making a good run right here is Adam Marr. You can call Adam Mayer or Marr, what we're looking at, but he had a good little run for Stockdale, and that's what they need. They need the ball. They need the ball, and they need to have possession of the ball and not play behind. You know, in football, we call them playing behind the chains. You don't want to play. You want to be in front of the chains. You want to be in front of it, and you want to get it in the defense's territory. And I think that's what Stockdale wants to do right now, is get it into Centennial territory.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in this situation many times before where, you know, you're losing 1-0 or 2-0, and you do want to come out playing as fast as you can, but, you know, you still have to have some type of some type of structure going forward. You just don't want to, you know, make runs or kick the ball anywhere. You still want to have some structure going forward, you know, bringing the team organized all the way from the back, and, you know, trying to get all your players on the other team's half.
Duluth crossed the ball to Chavez, and Chavez was able to kick it out of bounds, or Chavez ends up kicking it out of bounds as he was competing with the ball with number 15 on Centennial. Or actually number 16, Chris Arndt, he was competing with for that ball right there.
Something very important that Centennial is doing. You know, every second ball they're winning. You know, every rebound lands, you know, on Centennial's feet. And, you know, that helps them to keep the pace, to kind of dictate the pace of the game.
Center official out. It looked like it should have been Stockdale's ball, but the center judge overrid the side judge, who was a little indecisive with that. And that's frustrating if you're standing on Stockdale's side, that you have an indecisive official on there. More than anything, if they're going to make a call, they got to make a call and be quick and decisive with it. And nonetheless, Centennial is going to be working on that corner kick. Oh, hits the crossbar, and they're going to be pushing the other side. And I think maybe a little bit of foul that turns the ball back over to Daniel Sasso, and cruising on 10 minutes right here.
Yeah, the referee calling a push by Fiddler inside the box on one of Stockdale's players. See, that's what I'm talking about. You know, Stockdale getting a little desperate, just kicking the ball away, hoping that one of their players gets it on top.
And you get those unforced errors right here. And once again, really haven't found that rhythm is Duluth right there.
Yeah, that was great defending by Centennial's number. I'll get that number for you, number 5, Garrett Argus. You know, great defending there with the slide tackle that, you know, that interrupted Stockdale's opportunity there.
Garrett Argas has had a solid game tonight, shoring up that defense for Centennial. I mean, there's a few different guys. You know, we're talking, you know, player of the games. That's one thing we got to talk about. We got 10 minutes left to go in this game. I think Martin Navarro's had a very solid game at the keeper position. He's done a really solid job, and I think really shoring up that defense. I like Garrett Argas a lot. He goes unnoticed, but it's so solid that he's able to stick in there and hang and do all that stuff. You know, I like that Mateo Herrera had a goal, and that, I mean, you always look at the goals and all that stuff, but I think those guys that do the dirty work, we look at those two guys that, you know, get unnoticed. But if this game turns into a shutout, like I think it could, I mean, those guys have to be taken into consideration when we go and look at that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. You know, Garrett and the defense, you know, just being the leader back there, talking to its other defenders, and, you know, keeping Stockdale away from his goal as far as possible.
As he clears it out right there, just almost on cue. Guy that's been relatively quiet this half, Ben Page.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a lot of that going on there. A few of the players that we saw in the first half that we even talked about is kind of Tony's Pizza players of the game.
Yeah.
Both Fiddler and Page have been quiet in the second half, you know what I mean, as they gone. Not to say that Fiddler's presence has been on there, was on the keeper, and every time that ball goes into that 18-yard box and he's around right there, I mean, that definitely, they're on their mind right here as Centennial is looking to push inside the box. Once again, Daniel Sasso has had a pretty nice game tonight, despite that one goal that was beyond his control. Has played a good, very, very efficient game right now. And for soccer, I have to equate things so I can relate with that. So this reminds me of a good pitching duel in baseball as we look at it. Just kind of low scoring, very well played, good defense, good pitching, good things like that go on there. And I think this is just a very solid soccer game where one little mistake is kind of been the difference in this game so far. Yes, we do like to see the scoring, but I like to see the tactician style working on passing. I haven't seen a ton of turnovers in this game tonight. Just a lot of just tough play in between as we go through there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's usually what happens in big games like this one that we're, you know, seeing right now. You know, this score is going to be minimal. You know, like you said, you know, whoever makes that mistake is the one who's going to end up paying at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would want a lot of goals to happen, but both teams are great teams, and we knew that wasn't gonna be the
Oh,
the
and here we go,
expectations
Fiddler
tonight.
right here. Oh my gosh! And with a solid goal right there, Garrett Fiddler is able to drive that home, and just like that, Centennial goes up 2-0. And wow, ladies and gentlemen, Jarrett Fiddler, not I got to make sure I say it right. Jarrett Fiddler with an impressive goal as he was able to gain control, and with that right foot get that in there as he points to his crowd over there. So 2-0, Centennial is up. His time is ticking away.
Yeah, Jared, who was very quiet in the second half, puts himself in the right position to be able to hit that ball inside the net and get that second goal for Centennial High. I would like to inform you that Stockdale is going to be making a sub, going in with number 16, Mateo Masi, and coming out number 6, Elias Garibe. Unfortunate for Stockdale, though, who, these last few minutes, they haven't been able to connect the ball as much as they would want to, to give them that opportunity to keep going forward. It's been a lot of turnovers, a lot of, balls going out of bounds, and that definitely has to affect the team going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we're talking about these games, we're looking at that, and with a goal right there and a slick move by Jarrett Fiddler. Oh, and here we go, Ben Page, who's been on Page all night, coming through. He does go down, and it looks like it's going to be a corner kick as he gets on there, but he had an opportunity. But Martin Navarro has come up again.
Great tonight.
I mean, you look at Martin Navarro's had a great game, and I got to say this, Jarrett Fiddler goes back into Tony, because you have a goal, and then you have another one on the top where you were right in the mix of all that. Get that offense, that cushion under that, it definitely plays into that. And he's the best player on the field every time. He's able to make a slick move like that. Pretty impressive. And nonetheless, number 12, Nicholas Souza is trying to settle it down as they're trying to make some point. DeLuce is trying to find something to get as he crosses over, and Page had an opportunity right there. And just like that, I think that Sean Pitstick is looking at an opportunity, and the swinging bunt they call in baseball or something like that, where you're swinging as hard as you can and it only goes a few different places.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting that ball to land there, after a very good cross from number 20.
And that's DeLuce with the cross. He's had a pretty decent game as the forward and all that stuff.
Yeah, DeLuce opening up to the left wing and, trying to put, cross those balls into the 6-yard box, to try to get that opportunity for Stockdale High, but it hasn't been efficient so far. I like how Stockdale, even though they're losing 2-0, they continue to work and they continue to pressure and trying to go forward, trying to get that goal. They still have, not a lot of time, but I like that they're not giving up.
Remember what I said earlier in the broadcast? It takes 5 seconds to shoot a ball in there, and I've seen crazy things. I've been at South High in a South High tournament when they're playing Ridgeview, and South High's dominated the whole game. In the last minute, 2 goals by Ridgeview, and the game's over 2-1. And the better team at that time was South High. It's just Ridgeview had the right moments, the right crosses at critical times. It was just pretty intense and crazy to look at. Nonetheless, Souza gets back up here. He's trying to find DeLuce off to the side, and then it's going to be a throw-in for Centennial.
And that's one thing about soccer, that it's not always fair. Not always the team that's playing the best, gets that win at the end.
Just at the right time. Right time. You never know when it's going to happen. So here we go. We're closing in on 3:30. Just under 3:30 left to go in this SWYL Southwest Yosemite League match between Centennial and Stockdale. And the ball is pressed up, and the ball is out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for Stockdale. We got some tough decisions to make on Tony's Pizza Player of the Game. You got a keeper, a defender, and a striker who've all played pretty well. DeLuce and Stockdale are looking, but we got an indecisive side judge right here that I think is frustrating the Stockdale coaches on here, and they're trying to figure some things out. Ball goes out of bounds. Get out there. I can just tell it's frustrating where you got a side judge that's a little bit quieter, and you got a boisterous group, and the frustration of being down 2-0 as we're getting on to this 2-minute stoppage time and all that stuff. It definitely factors into that, puts the pressure on there. Nonetheless, Stockdale looking for more, and here comes Fiddler getting out there. And
yeah, Fiddler, who's doing a great job trying to help his team protect that ball, you know, and trying to keep it away from Stockdale High.
And it looks like it's going to be a corner kick for Centennial.
Oh,
and they're kind of going on and trying to figure out what's going on, and I think they're going to call something on Fiddler. So nonetheless, there's some things that I don't explain. I just see as we get into this stoppage time right here, as we go on there in this decisive SWYL matchup. Both teams 2-0 coming into tonight. Here comes Fiddler again, looking for more, and Fiddler shoots. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a rocket right there by Fiddler as he gets a goal! 3-0 Centennial right now as they take the lead. And Fiddler with that lefty boot right there.
Yeah, great shot by Fiddler. You know, it was unstoppable, even though Daniel Sass was a great keeper. You know, he couldn't do anything about that shot. And, you know, great goal for Fiddler, who's been a crucial player for Centennial High tonight. You know, now Centennial can be a lot more comfortable with the ball. You know, they can keep the ball as much as possible because, you know, it's in Stockdale right now. It's in a tough situation.
And I'm going to tell you like this score looks out of hand for soccer standards, you know, when you get to 3-0. But I do not think this is indicative of the type of game that we've had right here. I mean, Stockdale, we cannot take anything away from what they had. They played a tough game, and a few of these breaks, their first goal that Centennial had was off a crazy bounce, and it's little that Daniel Sasso or that defense could do. But I will say this, when you got a guy like Jarrett Fiddler who's looming around right there, is he's demonstrated that he is, as Coach told me at the beginning of this game, Jeff Vaughn told me, he is one of the top talents, one of the top goal scorers in town, and he has just shown that as he's put up 2 legs of the hat trick tonight and been very impressed with his ball. And we just said in the second half, hey, he's been kind of quiet in the last 5-6 minutes. He's put up 2 goals right here, demonstrating he's woken up a little bit. Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
Definitely making some noise towards the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the last few moments of stoppage time are going in there, Centennial's trying to get this ball as far away as they can. Some slick moves by Nicholas Souza, and it looks like Centennial is going to improve to 3-0, and it's going to be Stockdale is going to go down 2-1 as they're trying to get some points in there. Nonetheless, some tough defense as they're getting out there. Fiddler trying to go for that elusive hat trick, and he's got some opportunities. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Will he get the hat trick as he's going, and he shoots, and he scores another goal! And just like that with the hat trick, Jarrett Fiddler, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to say this right now, I think he solidified himself as the Tony's Pizza player of the game. I don't think there's any argument. Do you guys when a guy gets a hat trick?
Oh, of course not.
Are we going to say this right now? I think we can say it right now. Julian's shaking his head, and we can't argue it. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight with 3 goals and the hat trick, Jarrett Fiddler.
Yeah, and I mean he's the player of the game, not only because of the 3 goals that he's scoring, but also because of the importance, you know, the experience that he brings to the team on the field, just moving with and without the ball, creating that space for the other players to attack. You know, just a very, very important player for Centennial High, who I'm sure that we're going to hear more about him, you know, as the season goes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, we'll definitely see him score more goals.
And I've seen Centennial in some polls be, you know, pretty up there and all that stuff too, as well as, you know, as far as 10, 11, I've seen him around, hovering around in that area. So I'm very curious to see how Centennial does as they crucial win. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's been the last like 6 or 7 minutes. We've seen 3 goals, all by Jarrett Fiddler, and he gets the hat trick as we go on there. Let me put the final up on here and tweet out the final that we have right here.
Yeah, it was a very exciting game. You know, like you said before, the score does not resemble what really happened on the field, but you know, it was a great win for Centennial, and you know, a tough loss for Stockdale, who they lose their undefeated streak.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say this: my heart goes out to Stockdale because I mean, we look at an 80-minute contest and we see this out here. For 70 minutes, they played stellar soccer, and it was looking like it was going to be 1-0. But for the last 10 minutes, you allowed the best player on the field, Jarrett Fiddler, you let him loose to get out and do his thing, and he certainly impressed and showed that he is a top talent that is out there. So that's it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an exciting game to look on there. Julian's got something to say. He wants to say something. You're live right here, Julian.
Not only did he do the hat trick and win the Tony's Pizza Award, he has probably the coolest name in soccer, the Fiddler. He's out there playing his fiddle.
He's playing his fiddle. Oh, see, look at that. See, we only let Julian speak every now and again, but when he speaks, it is soulful, and he's bringing up the music that goes on there, and it was pretty amazing as these guys are clapping up. One thing I do like about the soccer communities, they do clap it up when it's all said and done. But nonetheless, SWYL, Stockdale goes down in defeat. Centennial wins 4-0. Jarrett Fiddler is the Tony's Pizza Player of the Game. And we are excited to come back. We have a 3-day holiday this week. Next week, we're going to come back. We got West High and Ridgeview boys basketball starting on Tuesday, and that's going to be a big SYL matchup, followed on the Thursday afterwards. Big SSL. Your school, Shafter, traveling to Arvin, is going to play in a big SSL. Those Arvin schools, we're going to do guys and girls that evening. And, man, you talk about programs both in guys and girls. Arvin has done wonders in the last few years. And then we're going to finish off that Friday big SWYL basketball game. We're going to have Centennial at BHS. So a lot of great things that are taking place, a lot of great things that are happening. For Udio Flores, I appreciate it, my man. Good luck the rest of the season. And as we grow soccer, you got to know that you're going to be out here doing your thing, whether it's English or Spanish. You've done great wonders. Keep doing great things for kids. I know you're doing wonderful things out there. I was talking with your athletic director, Brian Feaster, very happy with you and all that stuff. So keep up the good work, my man. My name is Kyle Wiley. That's Julian Wilson on the camera behind the scenes doing his work. Stay tuned. Pay attention on Twitter at KHSD Athletics. Look at all those highlights and all that as well. We'll see you next time. Have a good night, and God bless.